Hello, hello there, my crafty friends. It is Candy here from sweetstamper.com, and I'm so happy to be with you here today. It's Teach Me Tuesday. Every week I broadcast live here at facebook.com/sweetstamper, and I teach something, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different because I'm very much tying into a project that I created for a blog post. Hi Barb, I'm glad you're with me. So I typically, if you've been around here much at all, you know that I typically stamp on the fly. That's just kind of the way I like to do my Facebook Lives. I oftentimes come here to you and I don't have a project already prepared. I have a few ideas and we kind of throw them together. We do some online collaboration and design work, and it's a lot of fun. Hey Jackie, I'm glad you are here, and there is somebody that I just missed. Valerie, welcome. So today I'm actually kind of going in the opposite direction in the sense that I already have a project created. It's on my blog today, and I'm going to demonstrate it for you today and give you some tips and tricks on using a new punch as well as a little bit of technique. So I'm super happy to be with you. Hey Karen, I'm glad you're here. And the blog post that I created today is in a little bit of a collaborative. So I worked with two other demonstrators, one in the UK and one here in the US, and we got inspired by one another. And so we each took two blog posts from the other demonstrators and created something that inspired us from their blog posts. And I think that's just kind of the heart of what we do with our creating within Stampin' Up. Hey, Mary, I'm glad you're actually here live. I know I haven't seen you live in a while. You're typically watching me on replay, which I'm very grateful for your support, whether it's live or on replay. But you know, one of the things that you'll oftentimes see demonstrators talk about is casing, C-A-S-E, and that stands for copy and share everything. And so that's really the design inspiration that I'm coming at you with today. So without further ado, I'm going to bring the camera down. So close your eyes for just a second. Hi, Melissa. I'm glad you're with us. While I bring the camera down and get my computer situated so that I make sure that we are in camera and I'm actually broadcasting to you in such a way that you can see what I'm stamping. So you will see that on my table here right now, I have several things. So I'm going to open with showing you something. This is the last day to sign up for the Make and Take packet, but I hope that you'll join me live whether you get the Make and Take packet or not. This Saturday is World Card Making Day. It is an actual thing. And it's designed to bring attention to something that we really love. Hi, Vivian, I'm glad you're here. And that's card making. So I designed a set of 4 cards, and I'm using this lovely Angels a Piece stamp set. And I'm going to be live right here Friday night, October the 1st. And I'm gonna demonstrate all 4 of these cards. We're gonna do some games and things. It's gonna be a lot of fun. 7 p.m. Central Time on October the 1st. Technically, World Card Making Day is October the 2nd, but there are celebrations all weekend long. If you're here in the San Antonio area, I am doing a live class on October the 2nd. So if you want to get a Make and Take packet and stamp right along with me, today's the last day to register for that. You get everything you need to make these 4 cards. You do get the PDF tutorials when you purchase my Make and Take packet. You also get 1 piece 4x6 of each of these lovely designs. This is the Simply Elegant Designer Series paper. It is a specialty paper. So these are all foiled. And then of course the other side is a matte finish. Hi Dudley and Corinne, welcome. So you do get a 4x6 piece of each of these. Of course, you get your 4 envelopes. I always include envelopes because Stampin' Up! Has beautiful envelopes. They have this lovely, very finished flap. They also are designed to hold our ink really well so that you can stamp on your envelopes. You're also going to get a package of the rhinestones because you're going to use those on all your cards. And then you're going to get a full roll of this vanilla lace trim. I'm actually going to be using that vanilla lace on my card today. So last day to sign up for the Make and Take packet. I will have several, it does include shipping. It's $28 and it does include shipping. You can add on the stamp set if you wish. I will put some reminders out to make sure you remember to join me on October the 1st, Friday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. I think if you're on the West Coast, it'll be still early enough for you to join me. It'll be 5 in the afternoon. People will be just getting off work. It's Friday night. And then if you're on the East Coast, it'll be 8 o'clock. It won't be too late for you. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. So World Card Making Day celebration right here at facebook.com/sweetstamper. Today's the last day if you want to get a Make and Take packet. Okay, let's get on to today's project. So let me show you, I'm doing a vintage Christmas card, and I see I don't have my stamp set in front of me, so I'm going to need to get that because that's pretty important. So this is where I'm heading today, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks. Grab my stamp set. Oh, well, I do have the blocks. I do have the stamps already on the blocks. I made this using a bundle that I actually had purchased but had not yet broken into. Now, a couple of things. First of all, I'm always going to buy stamp sets that have birds. I love birds, and I think this little guy is super cute. He is, in actuality, a genuine British robin. The robins in Britain are different than our American red robins. They're much smaller, and they're very cheery. They're beautiful birds. They're the subject of many, many Christmas cards. But you can see by looking at him that you could create, you know, depending on the color scheme you use, he could be a whole host of different birds. So, hi Marcia, thanks for joining us. You also have this lovely holly. So you have some beautiful artsy images, artistic, very nature-oriented images. Look at all of those greetings. These are fantastic for your Christmas greetings. And I love that you have a number of different ones for inside and outside your cards. And then if you buy the bundle, which, you know, you get 10% off, so why not get the stamps and the punch together? It is actually a border stamp. I'm not going to use it in border format today. I'm actually going to be cutting these, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how you can best do that. Marcia, thank you so much for sharing my video. It helps me tremendously, and I appreciate that ever so much. So the couple of things I want to show you today are, first of all, how to get this vintage look. I love vintage. I think it's, if you came to my house, you'd see, my husband and I have been antiquing for, you know, ever since we met. So we both love antiques, and I think we like old things and recognize that many of them have a story to tell. We have some pieces from our family, which are real treasures, but Christmas cards, vintage, yes, sign me up. Okay, let me show you a couple of things that we're going to do. First of all, get something here to increase my table space here. I wanted to get my Big Boss out and go over something with you because I don't oftentimes emboss on camera or die cut on camera. It's just not my thing. I figure most of the time you'd rather watch something else. But I didn't want to go over this today because sometimes people get confused on which sandwich. But you know, honestly, our new Big Boss just really takes the guesswork out for you, because everything is written right on here. And you can see that I'm going to be using Merry Melody 3D embossing folders. One of the things I do is when I get new embossing folders, I label them because I need to know the name of it without having to search. And I also, I put mine in alphabetical order. That's just kind of the way I think. But I also put 3D if it's a 3D, because that tells me right there, I need to come down here to my little chart, using with 3D embossing folders. You only need the gray plate. That's all you need. So all of this is set aside when you're doing dry embossing with your Big Boss with a 3D embossing folder. So let's bring this baby out, and we are going to put a very vanilla panel in here. One of the other things I prefer when I'm doing vintage is I prefer to use vanilla because it's already kind of aged to begin with. It's not that stark white. So we're going to start there, and recognizing that Merry Melody, this is sheet music, and because it's a very strong linear image, you do want to make sure that you use that little line on there to help guide you. Now, depending on whether you're going to do landscape or portrait will tell you where you want to put your little line. Well, I'm doing this in a portrait or vertical design, so I'm going to line up there. And you remember that for best practice is you want to always have your hinge first. So that will help to preserve your embossing folders so that they will last for a long time. I haven't had it happen very many times, but I have had a few embossing folders die in the sense that they just, well, they come apart, and then when they come apart, if this spine breaks, you can, hold them together with packing tape or with washi tape. So, but the actually embossing part, this will last you for years, probably decades. Okay, let me file that. Let it be said that Candy actually put something away today. I'm not going to need my Big Boss anymore, so I will go ahead and move this off my little station here, my little stamping station. And I do have my little host code there if anybody's wanting to place an order. We are in the final 9 days of celebration. So if you're wanting to earn free products from Stampin' Up! Plus free gifts from me, now is the time to get those orders placed. So don't delay. Get that done. I'm going in the wrong direction here. Okay, let's try that. Okay, now I've got a little bit of, look at my cute little trash can. Okay, now back to tips and tricks. I guess I need some paper under me. What have I got here? Okay, here we go. Here's a half a piece of, and that should be plenty. I've got a half a piece of, is that right? I keep going in the wrong direction. I've got a half a piece of grid paper that's going to be just enough for me. So what I'm going to use today is a blending brush. These are really good for vintage, for aging something. And that's essentially what you're doing, is you're creating an aged look. And I will tell you that the best way to do that is with soft suede ink. It's the best color for any kind of vintage look. So let's just see how we're going to get on with this. Now, in the past, we were using primarily sponges, and I wanted to dab. But with these brushes, you can actually just swirl it. And I think if you think of it more like a blush, like putting on your blush, then it's a little bit easier to apply. And so I like to always start off the paper and then come in. I do like using circular motions because you're going to avoid streak marks that way, because although this kind of feels like a sponge, it's actually really tiny bristles. So it's really fine brush. And when you're doing this effect, or really anything with your blending brushes, you're better off to build the color. So you want to start with just a little wash. And honestly, that's probably enough. It looks kind of old. However, I could go back in, I can pick up some more, and I can just keep rubbing it on. and on and on. Now look what I've done. You see how much deeper that is? And one of the things that happens when you add more color, particularly with embossing folders, is it causes this embossed part to really, really be very prominent and really stand out. See, I'm upside down. My sheet music is upside down. Okay, so I'm thinking that looks pretty good. Now, one thing I did not do on my original, but I'm thinking about doing now, is to just maybe curl this a little bit, do a little torn or a curled edge. And with that, I am also going to come back over here and I'm going to add a little bit of that aging because I want everything on my card to look very vintagey. So I have a piece of soft suede cardstock to go with my soft suede ink. Again, when it comes to anything that's vintage, soft suede is just a terrific choice with your cardstock as well as your ink. So I have done a top fold. This is a vertical or portrait mode card. And you can see how things are already taking shape. I keep putting this upside down. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Okay, yeah, I like that little torn edge. I think that kind of gives it a little bit of character. Hey Jane, welcome, welcome. We're doing a vintage Christmas card. Now, what I've done is, just for time's sake, because of the things I want to key in on, and the things that are kind of straightforward, I am going to use, I hope I did this right, the right color on it. Let me make sure. Where's my original? Here we go. Oh, I made my label too big. Okay, let me make this smaller. This is going to, I thought, man, that's really big. That's going to dominate this card in a very, you know what, I'm going to go with it. Let's just go with it. That's going to dominate this in a big way, which is not my plan. Or what I could do, let's see. I have this in here too. So maybe we will take and we'll just trim this down. So I think what I'm going to do is go in a slightly different direction. This is going to be a little bit larger focal piece than I had planned. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut right inside that stitch mark and see how we can just live dangerously. And I'm not even using my trimmer. I'm trimming by hand, which is something I typically don't do with something this large, but let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's going to actually work. I need to bring it down just a little bit more. Oh, Jill, I'm glad you like this. No, I'm inside the stitching, but I'm going to bring it down just a tiny, tiny bit more. You know, sometimes it's just easier to work with what you have than just doing things over again. This is the brushed foil, and it is really nice for vintage looks because it's not super bright, and that's something that I was looking for. Now, I notice how much lighter this is. This is very vanilla. This has been sponged. I'm going to take my blending brush, and I'm going to age my very vanilla tag as well. This is going to have my greeting on it, and I don't want it to be kind of super bright and almost garish looking. It'll look like it's, from the modern era where the rest of this is from, a bygone era. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to bring it in tone-wise with the rest of my project. Now, I wanted to use the greeting, this large Noel. Isn't that gorgeous? And I am going to use some of those little holly leaves. So let's start here. And I will tell you that when you're doing this kind of a technique, you want to do your blending on there before you do your stamping. If you don't, what will happen is you'll mute your ink, which in some cases you want to do. In this case, I want my red to be super, super bold. So I'm just going to go right there in the middle, Noel. Boom. Now, look at there. You see how that's coming together really quickly? I mean, you could do 20 of these in absolutely no time. This is a quick and easy card. It doesn't look like a quick and easy card. It has a really rich look to it. And that's some of the beauty of working with vintage. It tends to just kind of have, if you're using the right techniques and the right colors, it just kind of has that look. So let's go ahead and stamp the berries. And let's do that on the inside panel, which is somewhere. Okay, Candy, where'd it go? Do I have it in here? No. I thought I did. I probably used it on something. Let me grab another panel. So once again, I am going to do a little aging here. So let's do a little bit more of our vintage look on the inside panel. And you know, one of the things you can do is you can do it on just part of it, and then it almost looks like it's like gone through the mail or something. It looks like it's, you know, been on a train or something, you know. It'll have almost not a dirty look, but a look that it's worn and maybe a little bit traveled. So let's do that. And then I'm going to bring in a little bit of shaded spruce, and I'm going to put that there. My nice little holly leaves. And then I forgot to mount one of my inside greetings, but I think I will do this one right here. Christmas blessings to you and yours. Isn't that a lovely greeting? So let's go ahead and pop that there. We get all the stamping done, because then we're going to do a little bit of fancy footwork with these, where'd my red go? With these holly leaves, the what do you call it? The punched out holly leaves. So let's just bring this in here like so. And let's take a blender pen, and let's just bring this green a little bit so that we have that holly look. And with it being a blender pen, it kind of gives a little bit of a watercolor look. So that's come along very nicely indeed. I can, because I have my red ink right here, I can pick up a little bit of red ink that happens to be pooled on the inside. So let me just grab I'm going to clear my blender pen to make sure the ink is, you know, not green. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this red, and I'm just going to add a little bit of red ink to these holly berries. I don't want it to be super bright, so just a little touch of red, because I'm wanting that vintage look. I'm actually really happy with that. So let's go ahead and start assembling this lovely vintage Christmas card, and then we're going to work with those little punched shapes. So let's start with some liquid glue. Mary, do you know what the music notes play? You know, that's a good question. I bet if I ask, Stampin' Up, they always, when there's words or something, when there's music notes, there's always, this is not fictional, this is real music. So yeah, I could definitely do a little bit of investigating on that. Let me see what I can come up with. It's a great question. And this embossing folder, although, you know, it's in our holiday catalog, because it's music notes, you could actually put it on any kind of a card. I mean, happy birthday to you. We do sing happy birthday. You could use it for music enthusiasts or just as a design element. Okay, so, well, phooey. Okay. That is right side up. Oh, no wonder I kept. Okay. Yep. Okay. That is right side up. Lord have mercy. Never know, I was a music major in college. No, we're going this way. Honestly, you can go in either direction because they'll look like, they'll either look like treble clef or bass clef. Okay, here we go. Yep, okay, that's gonna work. Joy to the world. Oh, Corinne, that's good to know. Okay, so that makes sense that they would have made this joy to the world since it's in the holiday catalog. Having said that, again, you could definitely use this for another type card. Let's put our Noel on there. And honestly, you know, it came out pretty straight with just using those long-handled scissors. But I think that because it's a vintage looking card, I don't honestly think that, you know, I'd be overly fussed on it being super perfect as far as the cutting goes on that. I know typically I want everything to be really straight, but I think in this instance it's really okay. So again, this is a little bit larger because I was preparing and for this, and I cut my tag a little larger than I meant to. So let me show you my original and then how we're going to change things up just a wee bit. Yeah, that's going to still come down here. Okay, so let me show you back to my original, which is here. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to lose the vanilla trim because it's a little bit much when I've got this up here. And because my tag is so much larger, I think it's going to look better by not using that. So what I think I'm going to do instead is I have a little bit of this vanilla twine, but I think let's do these guys first. Now, this is the way they punch out. So this can be a border punch, and it's really cool to use as a border punch so that if you had something underneath you, it would come through. But what I'm going to do is give you a little trick on using this. And what I've done is I've taken, this is the adhesive sheets, and we typically use these, we put these on cardstock and then run it, or designer paper, and run it through our Big Boss. But you can also use this on a punch. So I brought this out just to show you. They come in these 12x6 sheets. I think they're like $6, and they're absolutely like gold. When you start using them, you will love them. So here I've just trimmed a piece the same size as this, or close enough. And you see it also has these little pieces so that you know where to peel and stick. And that is literally all you're going to do is peel and stick. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to grab my punch and I'm going to pop this in like so. Now, if you could always turn your punch upside down to make sure you know where you are if you're in question. And now I'm going to give it a good strong punch. Has a lot of blades. So these punches are made to put on your table. And then I have these little holly leaves, and they are already have adhesive on the back. Woohoo! So you see that right there? I'm just going to pop that right off. Oh, yeah, there we go. Sticking to my finger. So this is going to allow me to create, it's probably the other way around would be better. Let's see if I can lift it really quick. Yep, as long as you move quickly, you can typically move these around. And now this is like the quick and easy, fuss-free way to attach these. So instead of having to use glue or something, I can just lift this adhesive sheet. Now, this is the way I was doing it before. If you don't have the little join piece on there, you know, where the little seam is, you can just do that. And it will, there it is, lift it. So now I can lift that up and bring it like so. And then I can put another few. This is a larger tag than my original, so I think I might add just a few more. Let's see. Let's see if I can do like this. That honestly might be enough. Maybe that's going to be enough. Hey, Gail, I'm glad you joined us. We're working on a vintage Christmas card today. This is featured on my blog today. And I wanted to kind of give you some tips and tricks on the vintage look, how best to achieve that, and some tips and tricks on using this lovely little punch. So let's see, let's try with just 3. We can always add more, but I think that might just be enough. So let's see if I do, I think these red rhinestones are so nice for Christmas. I mean, you can use them obviously for Valentine's Day. You can use them year-round when you're using red, but I do think they're very special for the holidays. So I think that might be enough. I don't know that I'm going to do more. I'll let you guys tell me what you think. And maybe I will lift this up and put it on the leaf. That might be better. And then I'm going to come in, because I have a larger piece here. Let me just pop something underneath here so that we can see these a little bit better. Grab some cardstock. Sometimes you need a little contrast underneath you so you can see better. Ooh, that might be too much. We'll try it and see. I probably need red underneath me just to kind of showcase my Christmas card. Let's see, how does that show up? Okay, good. Let's try the red and see if that's not better. There we go. I think that's going to be a little better. So what I am looking to do, because this is larger, this is the next size up from here, and you can see that on my original I had a lacy tag or scallop tag, and then I added a straight edge for the brushed foil sheet. This one I have the scalloped brushed foil and then put a straight tag on there. Because this is large, I could, you know, let me just try it and see. Let's try a double vanilla twine bow first. And I think what's going to happen is the twine is going to be a little bit more tailored look. And of course, twine is a very vintage product. They used to tie, you know, most of your boxes were tied with twine. A lot of your mail packages would come together and they would be tied together with twine. So this is a great product to use on a vintage piece. Obviously the lace is a very vintage item. Of course there's modern lace. Lace has been around though for centuries. So let's see about a double twine bow, and maybe this would be something we would want to use. Or maybe not. Now I could do it up here as well, like I did on my original. Let's see. If we do that kind of action, we could do something like that and do our little bow up there. Is that too busy? This is where I need your design help. There's my original. Let me grab the vanilla lace. This is, you know, just a classic to have in your repertoire. So definitely something to have in your stash, as it were. Let's see if I can grab this away. Isn't that a pretty inside? I like that a lot. Christmas blessings to you and yours, with a little holly on the outside, a little holly on the inside. Honestly, you don't even have to have anything, but you know, I'm always going to fluff it up a little bit. Hey, Terry Lynn, I'm glad you're here. We're doing a vintage Christmas card. Now, I could just do it in a knot, where my original, I had a bow. So let's just think about what that's going to look like. So this card, again, for anybody who came in late, I featured this on my blog today as part of a little design collaborative with a couple of other demonstrators. So we each went to one another's blogs, and we found two projects that we used as inspiration for a single project. Really kind of a fun, I love to kind of stretch myself and challenge myself with design work. So this was a really good little exercise for me personally. So let's see. And my two friends that I'm collaborating with, I really do like their work. Their blogs are beautiful. I got very inspired by their art, their photography, much fancier than mine ever is. So, okay, so Diana, you like it plain with no twine at all. I think that might actually be a really good look. This might be a little bit much. I was designing very late at night on this. So I'll just kind of wait a minute and see. And y'all let me know if you think I should add. I actually used less holly leaves here than on my original. And this has a much smaller, well, not much, but like 1/4 inch smaller tag. This one, you know, I do have more of those little holly leaves, but sometimes less is more. And I didn't want to get it too busy. So Linda, you like the small twine bow. And Gail likes the lace. I do think that this bow, this knot is better than the bow. I think the bow is a little bit much. I wonder if I'd like my original better with, again, I was designing late at night. Which my brain, unfortunately, really comes alive about 10 o'clock at night. And it's just been that way my whole life. You know, there's some things you try to improve about yourself and change, and there's some things that are just seem to be, you know, even as a kid, I was very much a night owl. And, you know, when my kids were really young, you just adapt because, well, if you're up all night feeding infants, then, you know, you're not going to be up at 5 in the morning. Okay, so we have some, you know what, since I've trimmed this one down, and we've got some that are liking the lace and some that are liking the twine, let me leave the lace on this one. I do like that knot better. I don't know why I had such a big bow on there to begin with. It seemed good at the time. Let me take this off and let's add twine on this one. Excuse me. Let's pull this off, and I can reuse that because it's a nice long piece of, and let's see. One thing I didn't do, I could put the twine there. You know what's cool about this, what I really like when I'm designing with you guys like this, is I have you up on when I'm looking up, I can see what you're seeing on my computer. Thank you, Melissa, I appreciate that. And sometimes, this is something you can do when you're at home too, working on something. Take a picture of your project and look at the picture. I'm telling you, if there's anything crooked, it'll show up just like that when you see it on camera. So that is definitely something I also do when I'm scrapbooking a lot. I'll kind of lay out my pictures and be happy with their layout, but then I got to move them so I can get the other pieces on there. So I'll take a picture of the way I have everything laid out. And then once I put the other pieces on my scrapbook pages, then I can easily see where I liked it. Because sometimes you think, oh yeah, I'll remember that. No, no, because your mind is going in 100 different directions, and you've got all of these fun, creative toys in front of you, and there's just so much. You know, I did think about doing a little bit of, antiquing on the lace. So let me just try that. One last thing that we will try before I love you and leave you today. I think I'm going to start this with a knot. My hands aren't working great today. Let's see. I used to, you know, when I was younger, I could do this super fine work. I used to do petty point and, you know, do really fine work. And yeah, these senior citizen hands don't work nearly as well as they did when I was younger, but you know, c'est la vie, I'm still here. And very grateful to be so. Oh, I kind of like that shaggy bow, because I've got the extra knot underneath there. Photos do show crooked placement. Yeah, they do. Sometimes I'm all ready to share something, and then I have the photo, I'm like, it's awful, I have to change it. Okay, so let me move these out of the way just for a minute. I'm still waiting on comments about this. There's a little bit of a lag on when you post it and I receive it. So let me take my extra piece of lace here. This is the piece that I decided I wasn't going to use. And let's just see what happens if we add a little color. Where did my little blending brush go? Here we go. So let's just see what's going to happen. Yeah, so you're surprised about the twine, Terry Lynn. So let's see. Oh, Melissa, I think I'm going to really like this. I did think about it, and I thought, nah, I don't want to be bothered. But you know, this is so pretty. You see the difference between, let me put it on, let me show you on the envelope. There's the sponged or the blended, and there's the plain. So you can see it definitely, it's going to bring it down color-wise into the original. So let me see. I'm going to go in there and change the photo on my blog post. I was already going to add the video, but I think I might just end up changing the photo as well. Let's see. Because I think I might. Well, it'd be fun to share both. Great suggestion, Melissa. Thank you. Okay, now let's move this. Let's bring this back in, and let's just see what happens if we use a little bit of vintage lace instead of new lace. I mean, the contrast is kind of nice here. It lifts it a little bit, but it might look even better, you know? Sometimes those little changes make a big difference, and I'm up for it because I'm doing great on my time today. Because I did, well, probably because I had my plan of action in the sense that I had already created this. But I did, when I was thinking about Teach Me Tuesday, I thought, well, like I wouldn't necessarily have thought to use the adhesive sheets on a punch, but it really does, especially when you have small pieces on a punch. That really simplifies everything. And then I definitely wanted to share with you about making something vintage. That was an easy call. Okay, so I've already trimmed my ends, so I don't have a lot of wiggle room here. Let's see if I can do it. Can I do it? Can I do it? Yeah, Melissa, you like it. Magic antiquing, yes. You know, when I was growing up in the 60s, my dad was a captain with 4 kids. We didn't have a lot, but you know what became really popular was the antiquing, where you could take furniture and you paint it and you added this antiquing stuff on top of it. And oh my goodness, my parents went mad. We antiqued everything. I like the vintage lace. Melissa, great call on that. It does just, you know, and then you can decide whether you want it to be a little farther up or a little farther down. But it does really, I think I'm really happy with that. Great suggestions, everybody. This is why I love, I got to put this down. This is why I love designing with y'all, because I think that I like collaborating. I like working with people. I think that oftentimes my best ideas come about when I'm working with somebody else. And so that's why when the opportunity for this blog collaboration occurred, I was like, yeah, let me in on that. So be sure to head over to my blog today, and then you will see Anna and Helen. Anna and Helen's posts. And Helen is the demonstrator who's in the UK, and I've actually been to her town before. She lives in Derby, and I was telling her about our plans to visit our grandkids in the UK. I mean, we're going to visit our kids too, but you know what I mean. We're visiting mainly the grandkids, and we're hoping to go in February. It will be super cold, but you know, that's just kind of when it fit in the schedule, and that's what we do with our kiddos. You know, we just do what we can do when we can do it. So we already had plans to be away at Christmas time, plus, I mean, traveling at Christmas time to the UK would be astronomically expensive. And I'd rather travel at a time when it's not so expensive so that I can then spend a little bit more money on the kids when we're there. So, two slightly different looks. I really like them both. I really do like them both. So, yeah, there you go. Tips and tricks on vintage looks for Christmas cards. We used the Merry Melody embossing folder, and we used the very lovely Happy Holidays. We will be doing this bird on a future broadcast, so stay tuned for that. Again, make sure you head over to sweetstamper.com and check out my project, as well as there are links to I think it was Helen did a beautiful card with this bird, and that was my inspiration here. And then Anna did a vintage card with this embossing folder, so that was my inspiration there. Don't forget, this is the last day to grab a make and take packet if you want to join me to stamp on October the 1st. Whether you stamp with me or not, I hope that you will come. I will be broadcasting right here, 7 p.m. Central Time. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's in celebration of World Card Making Day. I'm going to be demonstrating all 4 of these Angels of Peace cards, and if you want to stamp right along with me, you get all of this for $28, and that includes shipping in the mail. You get a whole roll of this gorgeous vanilla trim that I think you're gonna really enjoy using. Yeah, Jane, you love the bird too. Yeah, I'm a bird lover, so the artwork on him is really exquisite. He's a little bit jaunty, very cheery, and I think that I started playing with him a little bit last night, and then I went in the direction of using the greetings only for this particular card and just putting the holly leaves on the inside. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate your support ever so much. If you would like to share my video, that helps me tremendously. And I will be here Thursday, so join me again Thursday, same time, same channel, and we will be doing simple and stepped up stamping. I think it's going to be another spooky session. Thank you so much. Take care, and God bless.